I created this channel to share with you our boating experiences. And as we embark on one of our biggest journeys ahead, preparing for the Great Loop, the first step for us was finding our Great Loop boat. In order for us to do that, we sold our previous boat and started the task of looking for our liveaboard. In the meantime, we wanted to do things and go places that we normally wouldn't do and see. So sit back and enjoy our road trip to Nova Scotia to see family and explore beautiful scenery and extraordinary hidden gems on Earth. But for now, we're going to take you on a little road trip to Nova Scotia. See, I have some family out there that I haven't seen for a while, and Captain and I have never gone that direction. So what better way to enjoy the East Coast than it is to take a road trip? We packed our cooler and we headed out. As a favor to my cousin's friend, somebody who moved from Ontario out to the East Coast recently, after long conversations, we agreed to tow their trailer as far as just south of Fredericton. The moose are big and the hills are steep, but oh, what a beautiful area to travel.
You get the bargain down this thing.
Oh, excuse the bugs on the windshield. Once we made our way through Quebec, we discovered well-maintained highway driving, minimal traffic. We planned lots of stops for gas, stretching, and snacks from the cooler. We made our way down to Oromocto, which was our meeting place to hand off the trailer that we had towed. From there, our destination was St. John Harbourfront area because we had booked the ferry named MV Fundy Road, which is a 2.5-hour ferry ride across the Bay of Fundy. This is the St. John Harbor. We booked a hotel that was within a 12-minute drive to the St. John Harbor. We walked around the very uneven and hilly streets. The area was called Market Square. A lot of restaurants and patio bars. We were only there for one night and had an early departure to the ferry terminal the next morning. It's like so uneven.
Morning. There's the boat.
Rumble strips. This is so cool.
Morning. Lots of staff.
Need sunglasses. Oh, they do canoes. dogs. It's quite the operation. They fit in like little sardines, eh? Everybody has a place. That was the ramp we came up. MV Fundy Rose carries all types of vehicles, large and small, including transport trucks, motorcycles, RVs, and trailers. She is 406 feet in length and has a maximum speed of 25 knots. She can carry 1,317 passengers. She also has 8 decks. There is a small movie theater type area, a trucker's lounge, more than enough tables and chairs and workstations, 2 restaurants, and a coffee bar with a novelty shop. There's our view. There isn't one. This place just keeps going. Treasure shop. The ship was named after Rose Fortune, and there is a great story about her. If you're interested in finding out the history behind this blossoming legacy, just Google the story to learn more. So leading up to this, I was extremely excited to not only cross over from one province to another by ferry. I was so very hopeful to spot a whale, or even a couple of them frolicking. They are very active this time of year, but the one thing that allows this to happen is a clear sunny day. And as you can see from my video footage, we had no chance of seeing any marine life because of the extreme fog. As we made our way from St. John to Digby, we chatted with a local couple who were very interesting and shared lots of Nova Scotia points of interests and gave us some great advice on areas to visit. At this point, we hadn't had any concrete plans, but our idea was to travel along the western to southern shoreline and make our way to Yarmouth.
Very much, buddy. Have a good day. Thanks, guys.
Once we started to make our way, our first impressions were quaint. Houses are so very colorful. Seems to be very simple living. And the fisheries are all along the coast. The churches are absolutely spectacular with the construction and the tallest steeples you can imagine. We stopped at several lighthouses or light stations, and the Cape St. Mary took our breath away, as it was exactly what we had pictured, high up on a cliff overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. It was highly recommended by a few people that we definitely had to stay in downtown Halifax. And if we wanted to splurge a bit, to book ourselves into the Courtyard Halifax Downtown Marriott. Are we ever glad that we did this? Our timing was spot on as we arrived on a long weekend, and the vibe of being in the heart of the city was what made this stay so memorable. We ended up with an upgraded room on the 6th floor overlooking the harbor front. It wowed us as we opened the door, and the first thing that we saw was a shipping barge right up this cruising couple's alley. After getting settled in and a much needed rest, we went out exploring the area. The boardwalk was full of music, entertainment, and there was an abundance of restaurants and patio bars. So many options of things to see and do. The nightlife was hopping, and we felt so completely safe walking around. We were also awed by the city itself. The weekend was spent sightseeing, walking around, and tucking in to cafes. So far, we are so impressed by the amount of gluten-free options available everywhere we went throughout Nova Scotia. That's a really neat building. After leaving Halifax, we headed east-north to hang out with family and explore the Port Hawkesbury, Bedore Lake, and Cape Breton area. After settling into my cousin's house, and over the course of the time that we spent there, we enjoyed sunsets by the tin boat, early morning rooster calls by the local alarm clock Frankie, went trail exploring with her beautiful pups, rode another ferry ride, big 3 minutes across, swam in West Mabou Beach. We also took a day trip to visit my nephew and his family, where we enjoyed a barbecue and quality family time over towards the Atlantic Ocean side. We enjoyed music by the water, explored different eateries, and got a taste of what down east fiddle playing is all about while having dinner at the Frolic and the Fork. You cannot go to Nova Scotia and not drive the Cabot Trail. So, off to our next part of the road trip. Back onto the Little Narrows Ferry we go. And although you can do the Cabot Trail either way, we chose counterclockwise. When entering into the Cape Breton Highlands National Park, also known as the Cabot Trail, it is required for all visitors to stop at the entrance stations and pick up your park pass. And before you head out, I would suggest that you take some time and study the map. There are a lot of little hidden gems. 26 hiking trails, exhibits, lighthouses, beaches, picnic areas, waterfalls, camping stops, and lots of little artistry shops. The pass is required for you to park and explore. Also, the revenue is used to maintain and improve all park services. My nephew, who claims to be a Dawn Air expert, suggested that we stop at Andrew's Pizzeria, but unfortunately they were closed when we arrived. We found this little gem of a restaurant where we stopped for lunch. Excellent food and great service. Highly recommend you stopping at Morrison's restaurant along the way. There are times you feel like you're going to be driving over the edge of the cliff. Ooh. It really was a good weather day to travel the Cabot Trail. Unfortunately, the last 20 to 30 kilometers, we came across some extreme fog, which can be common when driving in altitudes as high as we were in. Once we arrived in the lower parts, it cleared up nicely. This little bakery is a must-stop. Small, but full of yummy treats. Our ending spot was in Shetty Camp, where we stopped at our hotel called Laurie's Motor Inn, which was in a great location for walking to restaurants, a nice marina across the street, to gaze at more fishing boats. We met and chatted with a couple, which was really interesting to hear their story on how they sailed up to Nova Scotia from Virginia. We always take the time to be grateful for the wonderful life that surrounds us. Every so often, we remind each other of how very special life can be. So we like to cheers to the amazing experiences that we share with each other. As we continue our drive, we decided to stop in a quaint little town called Pictou, where we sat by the waterfront and enjoyed an ice cream and talked about the next few days and the things that we wanted to see around the Bay of Fundy. Next stop, we're seeing another cousin of mine that will be showing us around the sights and taking us to some spectacular sightseeing areas. After arriving at my cousin's house and being greeted by this beauty pup, we unpacked and got settled in to spend the next few days visiting. We explored the Cape Breton rocks and cliffs, which was absolutely breathtaking. We explored the Cape Breton Provincial Park, the Eatonville hiking trails. We checked out the lookouts and the cliffs of Fundy. We witnessed what is the result of the flow of the tides and how sea stacks are formed. And our final reward was the spectacular Three Sister rock formations. Walking on the floor in the Bay of Fundy. The tide is just coming in. This is the tide coming in. And apparently it takes a few hours. We were mesmerized watching the tides come and go. Every 6 hours, the tides come in and then they start to slowly go out. Here is a 5-hour time lapse to show you. It is so slow while it is happening, but also so amazing to witness it. 1 minute we were walking on the floor of the ocean, and 6 hours later, we were out paddleboarding where we had just walked. And of course, we ended our road trip stopping at a marina to take a look at a boat that we thought was going to be a potential for the Great Loop. We were sadly mistaken.